Beloved beings of light, in today's video, we begin a profound journey towards spiritual awakening, unveiling a fundamental concept for all those who seek to understand more about life and themselves. This awakening, so often discussed but frequently misunderstood, is a transformation that occurs within us, far beyond a simple religious or philosophical concept. It is a continuous process of self-discovery and connection with the true essence that resides within our being. Throughout this video, we will reflect on what awakening really means, addressing various aspects of this process that change our perspectives and lead us to a fuller life. Before we move forward, it is important to understand that many people believe they have already awakened. But in fact, this awakening occurs gradually, revealing itself as we expand our consciousness. Some even claim they will never reach this state of enlightenment, yet it is precisely this fear that must be overcome. Awakening is essentially the process of opening our eyes to a deeper reality, one that transcends what we see with our physical eyes and connects us with the essence of the universe. To understand what awakening is, we can turn to the Bhagavad Gita, one of Hinduism's most important scriptures. In the Bhagavad Gita, the sage Krishna speaks to the warrior Arjuna about the path to true union with the divine, which is the profound meaning of yoga, the practice of union. It's interesting to note that yoga refers not only to the physical practice of postures, but includes various paths such as Jnana Yoga, the yoga of knowledge, Bhakti Yoga, which involves devotion, and Raja Yoga, aimed at achieving higher states of consciousness. According to Krishna, many remain asleep throughout life, while those who follow the path of yoga awaken to a broader reality. This awakening isn't a single event, but a constant practice of self-knowledge, meditation, and reflection. Even if you don't identify with a specific religion or the practice of yoga, awakening remains a journey of self-discovery that occurs when we open ourselves to new possibilities and to our true essence, regardless of external beliefs. As we move forward, remember that awakening doesn't depend on religious dogma, but rather on an attitude of authenticity and connection with oneself. We live in a world where we are often conditioned by familial, social, and even cultural patterns to live automatically. But true awakening happens when we break these patterns and begin to live according to our inner truth. Thus, we become leaders of our own lives, positively influencing the people around us. Spiritual awakening is a unique process for each individual, but it brings the opportunity to transform our life and the reality around us. Now, let's reflect on how we can start taking the first steps along this path. Continuing this journey of self-discovery, let us explore more deeply the effects awakening has on our lives. When we begin to awaken spiritually, we are not simply challenging established concepts or societal dogmas that have shaped us since birth. Awakening is a much more intimate process. It is the understanding that our choices, attitudes, and emotions shape the reality we live in. And these choices are not being made solely on the physical plane, but at a deeper level of our consciousness. On the path of awakening, we are invited to look within, confront our fears and limitations, and seek the truth of who we truly are, beyond social masks and identities created for survival. As I mentioned earlier, the Bhagavad Gita teaches that everyone has the capacity to awaken to this universal truth through the practice of yoga, meaning union with the divine and with oneself. However, spiritual awakening isn't something that happens at once, but rather a gradual process of self-transformation and self-awareness. Another essential point in the awakening process is that it leads us to a new way of seeing the world and ourselves. Contrary to what many think, awakening doesn't only bring peace and serenity, it also demands courage. Courage to break old patterns, challenge how we perceive ourselves and others, and question what was once considered certain. When we awaken, we begin to see life differently. We start seeing beauty in small things, noticing energies around us, and perceiving how situations align divinely, even when they seem senseless. However, it is important to emphasize that awakening doesn't mean escaping the material world or denying life's challenges. Rather, it prepares us to face these challenges with renewed perspective. When we connect with our essence and start understanding the nature of life and the universe, we realize suffering is part of this journey. Suffering is not something to avoid, but rather something to understand and transmute. Awakening leads us to greater discernment, where we learn to handle life's highs and lows with greater serenity and wisdom. That is where true peace and freedom begin to blossom within us. An important aspect of spiritual awakening is the understanding that everything in the universe is interconnected. What we do and feel reverberates around us. This understanding makes us more conscious of our actions, words, and even thoughts. Therefore, it's crucial that as we awaken, we cultivate responsibility for our energy. When we become more aware of the energies around us and the energies we emanate, we can choose how to respond in each situation. Awakening brings enormous responsibility, but also a great opportunity for transformation, not only for ourselves, but for everyone around us. When we begin living more authentically, our energy naturally attracts those ready to embark on their own awakening journey. With this, our role in the world changes. We are no longer passive spectators of life, but active agents transforming reality around us through our presence and actions. This change is felt by everyone we encounter, often in inexplicable ways. Awakening isn't an end, but a continuous evolution, where each step reveals new possibilities and what we can still become. As we continue our awakening journey, we reach a crucial point: the realization that awakening is not an isolated experience, but a continuous expansion of consciousness. As we advance, we begin to realize life isn't just about finding answers to emerging questions, but about living with more purpose, presence, and authenticity. This means awakening goes beyond a shift in perspective. It's a shift in our state of being, where individuals align more deeply with their inner truth and universal energies. In the awakening process, we are often challenged to abandon old beliefs, preconceived ideas, and patterns no longer serving our highest good. These old patterns may stem from past experiences or societal expectations. Letting them go can be one of the most liberating steps on this journey. However, this transformational path isn't without challenges. As we move closer to our essence, we must confront our shadows, the parts of us still resisting life's natural flow. This process of self-confrontation can often be painful. Yet it is within pain that we find the power of transformation. Awakening isn't a constant ascent, but a series of ups and downs, reconnecting us with our essence and life's purpose. Becoming aware of this, we see obstacles not as enemies, but as opportunities for growth. Suffering then ceases to be feared and becomes a natural, transformative part of our evolutionary process. As we delve deeper into awakening, we also realize our journey isn't solely individual. Awakening is deeply interconnected with humanity's collective experience. The energy we emit affects the world around us. Each thought, emotion, and action impacts not only our lives, but also collective energy. When we awaken, we understand we're part of something greater, and our mission is to live more connected and consciously, not just for our own benefit, but for everyone's. This awakening also teaches us the importance of living in the now, in the present. Often, the human mind is stuck in the past or anxious about the future, preventing us from living fully. Practicing presence, experiencing each moment as it is, free from mental distractions, is one of the most powerful keys to staying aligned with our essence. The present is the only moment we can truly live and create. Finally, spiritual awakening calls us to become true leaders of our own lives. A leader isn't someone above others, but someone whose authenticity inspires and guides others on their journey. Leadership isn't about power or control, but about being an example, truly yourself, letting your energy and presence inspire others. Even if you're not a great world leader like Plato or Marcus Aurelius, the difference you make by living authentically is invaluable. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts about what was shared here. How have you been experiencing your awakening process? What challenges and insights have you encountered along the way? Leave your comments below, as I'd greatly appreciate knowing how this reflection resonates with you.